Ladies and gentlemen, here is your starting grid for the 2023 Shriners Children's 200 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Darlington Raceway. On the pole, for the first time since 2018, Joe Gibbs Racing's John Hunter Nemechek will start on pole position with his teammate and last week's winner Ryan Truex alongside him. Row 2, we see Carlux Racing Kyle Larson and Sam Mayer, who's throwing it back to Kurt Busch. Row 3, we see Cole Custer throwing it back to Jason Leffler in 2004 and Chandler Smith in the second Carlux car. Row 4, we'll see one of Kevin Harvick's championship winning cars joined by Sheldon Creed and Jordan Anderson's Racing's Parker Retzlaff. Row 5, we'll see Joe Gibbs Racing Sammy Smith throwing it back to Fly Pilot J's original scheme, and Austin Hill, our points leader, also throwing it back to Kevin Harvick's 2006 scheme. In row 6, we see the second junior motorsports driver Brennan Jones and the last college driver of Daniel Hemrick. Row 7, we see Josh Berry throwing it back to Hut Strickland and Brent Moffitt throwing it back to Tim Richmond. Row 8, we see Jeb Burden, Talladega winner, throwing it back to Ward Burden and Ryan Sieg for RSS Racing. Row 9, we see Justin Allgaier throwing it back to Brandt Agriculture and Riley Herb throwing it back to the late Ken Block's Ford Fiesta from Gymkhana 4. Row 10, we see Jeremy Clements throwing it back to Jeff Bodine in his Hendrick days, and Anthony Alfredo throwing it back to the 2017 Dale Jr. Nationwide scheme. Row 11, we see the Watermelon Man Ross Chastain for DGM Racing, and Sage Karam throwing back to Richard Childress. And check out this video of when he just rode the wall exiting turn 4 in qualifying. Row 12, we see Big Machines Racing's Parker Kligerman and Corey Heim, who was oh so close on winning the Truck Series. Row 13, Karst Nosva, who got taken out by Roger Caruth with Spy Motorsports this time for the Xfinity Series, and Kaz Garland throwing it back to the Fire Department for NASCAR. Row 14, we see Josh Williams throwing it back to Kevin Harvick in the first race in Mexico in the Xfinity Series, and Stephen Parsons for Esso's Greenlight Racing. Row 15, we see Kyle Sieg for RSS Racing and Ty Dillon throwing back to a very early Warren Truex Jr. paint scheme. Row 16, we see Patrick Emmerling in a 35 Emmerling Gates Motorsports car and Ryan Ellis throwing it back to the Quicksilver Kevin Harvick's paint scheme. Row 17, we see Jeffrey Earnhardt throwing it back to Dale Earnhardt's 1997 Wheaties scheme, and Matt Mills throwing it back to the Herbie the Love Bug fully loaded. Row 18, we see Brennan Poole in the number 6 JD Motorsports car and Greg Golden in the number 08. And finally, in row 19, we have Joe Graf Jr. throwing it back to his Legend Stock scheme, and Blaine Perkins throwing it back to Kevin Harvick's 2003 Xfinity Series scheme. 3 drivers failed to qualify. The first one being Garrett Smithley in the number 4, throwing it back to Kevin Harvick's Busch car. The second one is the 66 of Chad Fincham with an inspired Eric McClure scheme from 2011. And the third one, the final one, is Dawson Cram throwing it back to Bob Keselowski's 1989 Mopa scheme. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting grid for the 2023 Shriners Children's 200 at Darlington Raceway.